everyone, I'm Kevin, otherwise known as Forum BX257, here to bring you another 1980s G.I. Joe toy review. Today I'll be taking a look at a small playset, a G.I. Joe battle station, the 1984 Bivouac. Now, I know some people pronounce it Bivouac, but I've always pronounced it Bivouac without the O, so you'll just have to bear with me. The Bivouac is a small, very realistic looking playset, and even though it's titled an observation post, nowadays you would probably call this a recon blind or maybe even a command communication point. The Bivouac never appeared in any of the cartoons or the comics, which is a shame because of its utilitarian nature. It would have made a very good background set. And speaking of which, it does make a very popular diorama set. But it isn't just a big tent. It does have a few nice little parts in here which make it very interactive with the figures. This came in 21 separate pieces, and that's not including just putting the stickers on. Like I said previously, the Bivouac is mostly just the tent, or as I'd like to call it, a blind, where you have the large covering which would face towards your enemy, and a large opening which faces towards your camp or your equipment. The tent poles have these angled nubs which act as little branches, where you can put items that have straps, like Lady J's camera, or Footloose's rifle, on the outside or the inside if you prefer. Now the tent itself is actually large enough that you can actually stand a figure up in it. Some small playsets, like the Cobra Bunker for instance, you can't actually do that. So that's actually a nice feature. The cot on the inside, however, while it's low, to me it's not low enough. As you can see, it's also kind of curved, making it just a tiny bit difficult for figures to sit on the cot properly. However, figures can obviously lie down on it quite naturally. The nice thing is that the cot isn't pegged in there, so if you don't want it in there, you don't have to have that in there. You can put something else in there if you desired. I'll just leave the figure in there. Unfortunately, this playset does have, I would say, only really two problems. One of them is the rocket launcher. I think the rocket launcher is actually a 5-piece part, but during the assembly part of the video, I only put 3 parts because the end cap and the muzzle ring on the rocket launcher shaft are basically permanently on here. They go on so tightly that these will often have either very obvious stress marks or altogether cracked. So that's an unfortunate thing. The rather large rocket shell goes in there, and it's relatively loose, so there's no worry about it getting stuck in there. Another unfortunate problem is the equipment rack, which houses the axe, a nice machete, and a shovel. Now, the equipment often falls out of this thing because it's supposed to be angled, but it's not really. It's very straight. And these pegs these holes, I really would have liked them to be L-shaped, so that when you put the equipment in there, it sort of locks in. Things like the machete are almost always falling out at the slightest touch. Whoops, there it goes. There are actually 4 holes. Even though you get 3 pieces of equipment there, you can always put an extra rifle in that 4th hole if you prefer. It also comes with a large radio, a fairly well detailed in fact, but one unfortunate part is that it has this very large antenna, which is, as you can see, very easy just to pull out. So this winds up getting lost very easily. Another item which gets lost very easily is this 16-ounce water canteen, which is a really nice addition to a figure. But again, it's so small, and it really only just goes onto these tent poles, so it's easy to knock off and forget about, or just lose altogether. Well, that's all the time I have right now. Please check out my Facebook page for more information and behind-the-scenes photos for these reviews. Thank you for watching this video, and stay tuned for next time to see another 1980s G.I. Joe toy review. See you then.